Hello and welcome to Fools Rush In, STFC Fan Chat, your weekly episode of, well, I'd like to say all things STFC, but we didn't have a game this weekend. So what could we possibly have to talk about? Plenty. I have a whole pad full of topics that all the listeners and viewers have sent in to us, plus a couple of my own. Let's say a quick hello to tonight's panel. First of all, we have Ben. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Yeah, very well. Well fed and looking forward to the pod. Let's go.
Excellent. There seems to be some shenanigans going on in the background that I can't manage to keep up on because everyone's laughing. But Warren, you're back. You're feeling better.
Oh, it's good to be back, lads. Good to be back.
Good to have you back. It seems it's the month of returns at the moment. We had Joe on the weekend episode. Now you're back. Rich came back as well last time. It's good to see some familiar faces returning. Woody back from his title-winning tour of the Wiltshire district. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm not well fed, as the people in the chat have just seen. I had a Papa John's that arrived 5 minutes before we joined the call, so all I can do is smell it. So, I'm not going to do a Christian and start eating my dinner whilst we're recording.
A nice little
did last a couple of hours,
there, mate. Nice little plug. We're always looking for new sponsors, so if Papa John's are interested, people might belittle you as a competition sponsor, but we'll take anybody at the moment.
Yeah, but I love that competition, so I'm allowed to.
Luckily, Craig ain't here because he'd have a lot to say on that. Ned, hello. Fresh from all the work you did on the weekend's episode, the monster spreadsheet you put together. Very well received it was. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thank you very much.
Good. No, you're what, mate. Hard work deserves recognition. And we are joined by special guest, Rochdale fan Tom from All Dale Arent We podcast. How are you?
Yeah, I wish I could say I'm better, but you know, Rochdale are pretty poor this season so far. But there you go.
Well, pretty poor has been our speciality over the years, so we certainly know where you're coming from with that one. But welcome. It's good to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Not at all. We're going to do things in reverse order because we don't have a game to look back on from the weekend. Let's instantly go into the game this weekend and Rochdale. So Tom, from your perspective, last time out, you guys suffered the same fate we did. We lost to Crawley, you lost to Crawley. And as you saying off air, you're just looking for this season to end at the moment. You're sitting 20th, I believe, in the league.
Yeah, I mean, if I just to give you a quick recap on what's gone on over the season for us, we had a bit of a weird pre-season. Our manager, who was with us last season in League One, he'd started the pre-season with us and signed a few players down to contracts, and we thought, okay, right, we're building here. And then after that point, I think it was just 2 days later after he'd signed one of our main players onto a new deal, he left. He just up sticks and left. Obviously, we've had all this turmoil with the club in the summer regarding the ownership. I believe you know Andy Curran very well, Lee Curran. I'm getting the names mixed up here. I believe you chaps.
You were probably right with the slight mishap on the name there, to be
fair. Yeah, there's no mishap there, mate.
Yeah, so we've had all the ownership issues over the summer. We were a bit unsure to what was going on. And then we had a bit of a prolonged break between getting a manager in. So pre-season had started and we didn't really have a squad together or a mixed match of nothing. We had to wait to get a manager in to start recruiting. Then by the time Robbie Stockdale was appointed, we only had 2 weeks before the season started. So it was a bit of a quick file them through type job. And you know what? Despite all the implications we had, we started the season pretty well. We looked quite good. You know, it was a good attacking intent of football. And it looked like it was going to go in the right direction. We were some good results early on in the season. Got a away win at Northampton and Port Vale as well. And we were looking a decent side. And then I think we played Burnley in the cup. It was, and then it's all just gone wrong from there. Really, results have been too far inconsistent. You know, picking up odd wins here and there. We've got something ridiculous like 17 draws this season, and a lot of them have been 0-0 bars. Our football's very, very poor to watch. It's just, yeah, there's not much going on. Obviously, you touch on the Crawley game on the weekend. We huffed and puffed and passed the ball around quite a bit, but created nothing really, no clear-cut chances or anything. And it's just been the pattern of the season. Our manager's been backed with probably one of the biggest budgets we've ever seen in a January transfer window, and it's just not paying any reward at the minute, and it's led to quite a divide in the fan base to whether the manager should even be given next season, regardless of what's going on behind closed doors with the club. So, yeah, not the greatest of seasons so far for us.
A lot of it, though, sounds very, very familiar to us, though, doesn't it? In terms of pre-season, manager, current, disaster. All of these words just flow nicely together. I'll come back to you in a second, if I may, about what you think for the game. I can see Rich has managed to join us now. How are you feeling this week? You feeling better, pal?
Yeah, much better. Tested negative on Friday, so I feel a lot better. Just getting the rebuild back in now. Cause tell you, it takes a lot out of you. I didn't realise how bad the after effects were rather than the actual effects during it. So it's just the rebuild now. But hey, feeling better.
Wow,
you're still young, Rich.
Yeah, yeah.
That was you're still young and rich. Not you're still young.
Very good.
And it has to be said, actually, on that note, sending our best wishes to One Show, who we have spoken to this week, and he's not feeling 100% at the minute. So just a quick shout out to him. He does hope to change his nickname from One Show to One Show a season if he gets better in time. Rich, we were just touching, or we were going to start talking about Rochdale and the game this weekend. Obviously, we've had the week off. Are you expecting the rest to have done us good?
I mean, hopefully so. I think the players should have had a nice rest. I think the players that have obviously gone out on international duty, they'll be able to keep their match fitness, obviously. And, I think the weekend off will do us good. I think it has done previously this season when we've had the weekend off or when we've had a long stretch of time off. So, but I think also it's not only for the players, but I think it gives Garner enough time now because he's got these last 8 games of the season. It's crucial times for us, playoffs and automatics are still within contention. A lot of results went our way this weekend as well, which was good. And that was another good thing, I think, for Swindon fans was that we could sort of like relax, sit back and see how the competition up in the top 7, top 8. Well, you could say the top 9 because there's so many teams that are within distance of that top 7. So, I think seeing teams slip up was ideal. Bristol Rovers being one of them, seeing as that they've been on an absolute
tearaway recently.
Yeah, absolutely, since they played us. So, I think good to see them finally be human, sort of thing, and finally lose a game. And let's see what we can do. I'd like to think that we'll have a strong side back out on Saturday. Hopefully, a couple of players will have come back as well.
Well, let's stick with that theme, if I may, because part of tonight's episode, we posted out on social media asking people what would they like us to talk about, and that's a lovely little segue because your new photo friend, Mr. Ocus Road, sent one in asking how does everyone think we're going to replace McCurdy. So, Rich, I'll let you carry on that front.
Well, I think first things first is we don't actually know what the actual deal is with McCurdy. I think we've got to stop jumping to conclusions. The fact that he is potentially out at the moment is still only a rumor unless somebody's got some solid evidence to actually reveal that he is out for the season. The club haven't announced it. Garner obviously hasn't had the chance to announce it because he hasn't had a press conferences yet.
Well, you'll notice that Warren's been looking down the whole episode because he's currently performing surgery on him himself.
Yeah, but if for instance he is out, he's obviously a very difficult player to replace. Who we could replace him with, I think the most obvious one would probably be Harry Parsons, probably, to give him a shout. The problem with Parsons is that he had a great loan spell at Chippenham, but he hasn't really sort of got back in to like the first team with Swindon. He's been on the bench. He's had a couple of cameos coming on, etc. But I think maybe potentially Garner's got to sort of adapt the style a bit now. So maybe adapt the formation so that players link up. Some players coming back would be ideal. Obviously, Louis Barry, for example.
Yep.
I know and I've had this conversation with a few people as well. And I feel as if that Barry's got a very similar style to Harry McCurdy. And I think it was a shame. I think his injury was obviously very untimely. It wasn't at a great point for him because he was just getting his stride at Swindon. He had that great game against Walsall, and I think, but if he came back into the side and he was fit for Saturday, for example, again, there's not much transparency on these injuries. We don't know how long they're going to be. And actually, to be honest with you, I'm not actually too upset about that because I don't want Garner I know Garner doesn't really want to be making empty promises, saying that he's definitely going to be back this week. He's definitely going to be back this week, because we all know injuries, they don't always go to plan. So, and recovery. So I think it is something for us to think about, but also I think it's another thing that we've just got to wait and see, really.
Yeah, and we also don't want to make Rochdale's job too easy for them, knowing our 11 days and days in advance. Ned, your thoughts on the game? Going into it confident, or with suspected, rumoured injuries causing a bit of concern?
Well, I don't think we've won at Spotland since 1995, so I don't.
Really?
Yeah,
is where Rich pipes up again with, "I wasn't even born then."
I don't. Well, Rich has also pipe up and say, "I've got 3 zeros after that on my bank balance as well." But I it's just one of those one of those games where like you go to Cheltenham away, you think, oh, we could have blooming 11 Louis Reeds and we still wouldn't beat Cheltenham in a month of Sundays at their gaff. But it's I just genuinely I haven't got massively positive feelings for this one. I think we're probably going to get a draw. I think we've somehow managed to swap around our home and away form. I don't think we're as dominant as we previously was away from home. So and Harry McCurdy as well as potentially such a massive loss as well. And just with the who should start in place of Harry, I would love for it to be who was it we just said? I can't even remember his name. He's that insignificant.
Parsons.
Yeah, that's it. Parsons. Sorry, as much as I would love for it to be one of our youngsters coming through, I think it's going to be JML. As much as I
pod favourite
hate, yeah, absolutely hate. But the thing, my feelings with JML when he played the first half the other day. Who was that against? Oldham. That's right. He looked so much better in the first half than he's ever done. Playing in as a substitute. So I would probably want him to start and then maybe swap him around at half time with someone else. But I mean, potentially, maybe even as Rich said, maybe sort of have a little play around the formation, maybe have a 1 up top, 2 behind or something. I don't know. I'm really not sure how it's going to work, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be a classic to watch. I don't think it's going to be one of our great performances of the century. Just a quick question there for Josh. How's Liam Kelly playing? What's he like? Is he any good?
Oh, sorry, Tom. Are you asking me?
Tom, sorry, I thought I can't call you Galaxy S21.
Sorry.
Your name.
Why not? That's what my friends call me.
So sorry, Tom. Sorry, mate.
No, yeah, he was a steal of a player that we got in from Feyenoord, I believe. I know he's previously played for Reading. He's a good passer with the ball. He's a good technician. He's a bit lightweight because of his size. He's probably not really shown his full potential yet because I don't think he's been surrounded with good enough players. He's a bit of a luxury player. But when we've been in the right frame of mind, he's looked good.
Yeah.
He was on trial with us. He was on trial with us last season.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt.
I believe so. Well, he scored at your place, didn't he?
Yeah,
just to remind you.
no doubt. We're going to score again.
Cheers.
So if you're going to put money on any first goal scorer, Liam Kelly is the one to go for.
Well, I wouldn't even be too sure he started because he's not the past few weeks. We've kind of opted for a bit more bite in the midfield, but that's not really changed anything anyway. But
Woody, let's get your take on it then. Oakesroad did go on to offer his suggestions, so I'm interested in your view. On the assumption that the players are fit and available, he would go 4-4-2, and he's named his 11 as Jojo with Hunt, O'Brien, Conroy, Tomlinson, who I don't think is going to make it. And then he's gone Egbo, Aguilar, Payne, Yandolo with Parsons and Davidson up front.
Not sure I like that one. I wouldn't change the formation, to be totally honest. I think change the player at this stage of the season. I think it is Harry Parsons' time to shine. It should be his opportunity now, if McCurdy's out injured. But I think this is the problem we still have with a lot of Swindon youngsters, is we seem to take so long to eventually give them time. And then what happens is they end up either really flopping, and we've just wasted 5 years of development on them. Like look how late we took before we started playing Yandolo. And it's the only one that's really the times bode well for was Scotty Twine. But there's so many players that we should find out about them sooner. I do agree with Ned. I think it's going to be Mitchell Lawson, as much as it pains me to say it, because I don't have anything against the lad. He's just not good enough.
Richard's reaction every time someone says his name is hilarious.
Yeah, it's just I don't have it because he's a trier. I'll give him that. He's a trier, but he's just not good enough. He's just not got the quality. So I just think it's about time we stop giving Harry Parsons 10 minutes at the end of every game, or sometimes less than that, and
start giving him an hour or more.
Yeah, give him a punt.
Do you think it's the right position though for Parsons?
Well,
is he a winger for me? Like the way we're lining up at the moment, we play two wingers and a striker, don't we? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was Davidson out injured, I'd say no problem. Chuck Parsons, he seems quite a physical lad, puts himself about. But for me, when he can't start out wide. I don't see the benefit.
When he comes on, he very rarely goes in the striker role.
No,
he hangs behind. He hangs behind. So I think that if we did stick to the 4-3-3 and played him slightly more inside forwards, so that he's cutting in, play him on the left hand side. It depends who we've got a fullback. Like say when Tomlinson back, this isn't an issue because we know Tomlinson will bomb on forward.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Egbert,
I just think there's better inside forwards. I'd put Payne or Williams in there if you're going with Parsons. I would
do that. Yeah, you could do that. It depends on what you've got behind them. I'm trying to think of who we've got that Huntley's not going to get dropped, which I don't think he should anyway. So then you got the left hand side. Do we put Egbo in there anyway, just to get some pace out there? And then I don't really care about the centre backs, but and then
we can't defend anyway.
Yeah. And then if we're looking at Reed, Johnny Williams potentially, and Jack Payne as the midfield three.
Reed.
Davison heading.
No, Reed. Has he got one more?
Has he got one more?
Out.
Oh yeah, he has. Yeah.
This is like the longest suspension ever, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like with Reed out, is he strong enough? Probably not. So we should probably drop Payne back into midfield. So we're kind of forced to play somebody who might not be, like you say, a naturally inside forward. I just think that. No disrespect, Josh. No, I'm joking. Tom. No disrespect to Rochdale, but I think this is a game where we need to try and see what else Parsons is about.
Yeah.
You know, because Rochdale aren't completely safe yet, although I think he will stay up.
Mainly
I think-
because the amount of really
You'll be
shit
fine.
Swindon managers in other clubs.
Yeah, you're the best of the worst 7. But yeah, no. In all seriousness, I just think I would just like to see him start. I just think we can't stop holding back players. We can't judge players based on 10 minutes that they give us at an end of a game. But yeah, and then you got the likes of Egbo in there as well. I'd like to see him starting some games now as well. Because he always threaten him. So without looking at the squad, I couldn't say what lineup I would put, but I definitely wouldn't change to 4-4-2. Sorry, Oakus Road, I can't bring myself to go into 4-4-2.
No, it's very valid, and it's a game of opinions. Warren, Ben, I'll come to you in a minute, but let's have a look from the other side then and bring Tom in. What are you expecting from the game? Are you expecting a free-flowing Swindon to turn up and make it a horrible afternoon for you? Or are you expecting to win 1-0 from a set piece?
Well, definitely not set pieces. I don't think we've scored from a single set piece all season at the amount we've had.
Finally!
Because we're defending them. You'll score a corner, mate, honestly.
Hold on, you forget we're Swindon. You're just about to get rid of that record.
I don't know. It's a tough one. Obviously, I don't know if you knew. We're playing tomorrow as well. We've got a game at home tomorrow against Carlisle, so you might be a little bit more fresher for the game as well. I don't really know. It's not, from our point of view, we've got this obsession with possession football and going nowhere with it. We just seem to like to pass it round the back.
Yeah, that one as well.
Well, we play a 5-3-2, and ultimately, at the start of the season, all of our play was reliant on both the wing backs getting forward, and because we're on such a bad run of form, they just don't get forward anymore. The midfield get absolutely bypassed. We were playing a 5'9" striker as a target man up top on his own, which was just absolutely bonkers. We signed some lad from Darlington who was meant to be like a rave kid, and he's only just started being put in the team now, so he's really quite raw and uncut. We've got a few injuries to our main players. I can't see it being a free-flowing game from Dale's point of view. I'm not saying Swindon might come along and really turn it on, but the one saving grace I'd say we've had, even though despite how bad we are, last week Mansfield was our first defeat at home since October. There's been a lot of draws in there, mainly all draws. Not really any wins. I don't know. It's just tough to say. It's tough to say what day will turn up. I honestly do believe if we lose tomorrow night that our manager will be sacked. So you could be seeing an interim manager in place by Saturday. I'm that confident that the vibe around the ground and the club at the minute.
Well, if common practice is anything to go by, then you'll be hiring a really shit ex-Swindon one.
Yeah.
Everyone else seems to be.
Cooper's going free.
Gonna say Cooper, yeah.
I honestly think. Go on.
No, sorry, it is still related. Ned, we didn't play Rochdale in 1995, and we last beat them in 2015 at their place.
I was going to say,
we beat them
4-2.
We beat them 4-2.
I was going to say, Gladwin scored a hat-trick, didn't he?
Gladwin got a hat-trick, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Sorry, Ned.
I was looking at my phone. Clearly an absolute shit website.
Woody has taken the Ned report and just gone.
No, I haven't. I was just really intrigued because I was like, surely it doesn't go that far back. I was like, we've beaten everybody since then, haven't we?
Sorry to carry on.
Yeah, just touching on it. Like, I think if Swindon come with a game plan of pressing us, I think we'll be absolutely done for, because that's our absolute weakness. Like I say, we're weak in the midfield. We've got a centre half that can't play with the ball at his feet. He's pretty good in the air, but he can't pass the ball. But we like to play passing football, which is absolutely crazy. And there's just a real discontent around the place at the minute. I just feel like if you come and get an early goal, I really think it could be embarrassing for us, but I don't know. Let's wait and see. I never hold. I'll never say never. I think if we are to get a result, it will be scraped, like a 1-0 or something. Because I'm still looking over my shoulder at Oldham, thinking, oh no, 9 points behind us. If they show any form of consistency, they're going to catch us, because we just can't win games of football.
Thing is, though, if we play like we did against Crawley and just have shots straight at the goalkeeper, then yeah, it probably will be just.
Oh no, don't worry. Our keeper drops balls in the air. He'll let them under his arms.
Still probably miss. We'll still probably be over the crossbar.
Honestly, if you get
Can't wait to
5
see
minutes,
Bengano
go
tomorrow
back.
night.
If you get 5 minutes, go back and watch the highlights of the Swindon game at Crawley and just look at the amount of clear opportunities that we failed to score.
20 shots on goal.
Scored 20 shots.
20 shots.
What concerns me with Tom's sort of preview there, Ben, is that you're now going to be very overconfident. And last time you did this, I think the quotes were, Crawley were a tin pot club, shit ground, and we're going to absolutely hammer them.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Have you learned your lesson?
Yeah, well, Rochdale a bit tin pot, isn't he? No, I'm only joking. That was a joke, Tom. I only did that. That set me up last week. No,
Can we ban him? Can we ban him? I've had enough of his tin pot dross.
No, it's look, it's we've got a few injury concerns. We don't really know what the squad's going to be. I think the good thing is Garner's had a full 2 weeks to work on a formation, and I don't think it's going to be 4-3-3. He's got something in mind. He will change it about. I think he's got 2 weeks to work on it. You know who his squad's going to be as well. There will be some players coming back, but we don't know who. He keeps that close to his chest, so he doesn't let anyone know about it. So it's a little bit of the unknown. There is obviously concerns of Rochdale when we're playing away from home. You know, they've got. I swear, Liam Kelly will get a game and he will play and he'll score. I just know he's going to score. He's former Oxford. He's been training with us all summer. He's blatantly going to get a goal. So I'm confident we can get some sort of result. We have to win though. So I think chasing that win might result in it going badly for us. So, you know, by being too cavalier, we could find ourselves 2 down in the first 20 minutes. Because we've not played in 2 weeks, so we've lost ground on the teams around us. We now find ourselves in 9th. We're still only a few points off automatic, but we need to, step up because we've had that time off, and we need to follow up. And these is one of the games we probably earmarked that if we're going to make the playoffs, if we're going to make autos, we have to win, and that puts undue pressure on us. And we've not played in a while, and we've got injuries, so we are susceptible to being counterpunched.
And last but certainly not least, Warren, what's your thoughts going into it?
I'm with Ben. It's totally up in the air for me. We don't know how we're going to line up. We don't know what system. For us,
Lads, you're normally a lot more positive than this, I must say. This is like a real negative feel.
Yeah, no, we're going to win. We're going to win. Yeah. I didn't give a prediction. We're going to win.
No, I'm going to come around and get everyone's predictions, but this is just generally like, so Tom sat there and he's gone, well, do you know what? Our keeper's shit. We can't defend. Our midfield doesn't play and our strikers are awful. And we've reacted by going, this is going to be tough. We don't know who's playing, what formation. It's like, we're all just sat here like, yeah, we're all going to lose.
Could happen.
Sorry, Warren, carry on.
No, I just do fear for us at the moment. For me, it feels like we're just falling away. There's just not that consistency there in our performances at the moment as well, which is the massive thing, because as much as the results help, when we're playing our good style of football, it breeds confidence and then it brings the results with it. And for us at the moment, I just don't think we're there. I don't know if it's just started to catch up. We're getting all these niggly injuries now to big players. Every week we seem to be getting an injury that's to one of our big players. And yeah, I do just fear for us at this moment. But like you say, we've only got one Tuesday game now between now and the end of the season. So Garner gets a full week with these players to get the injuries right, to get the team right and everything like that. It's a big 8 games. For me, I think the automatic's gone now. I don't think we're there. I think that Forest Green are there. I think Exeter looks strong, and I think there's teams that are on better form than us at the moment. That with 8 games to go, I think we'll be fighting to get into the playoffs, and we've got to get into good form to get into the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't know this weekend. Okay. We need to win. For Rochdale at the moment, I personally don't see them going down. No. I think it's a game for that. We should be more fired up than they should be. And we've got to put in a performance and we've got to win the game.
Can I just interrupt with a quick question? This is something that all Dale fans have been saying. Do you think League Two is a poor League Two this year? Because we as a fan base all think it's a terrible league, and that we're just really terrible.
No.
Depends on what sense you're saying, as in terrible, as in like, I mean, I'd say inconsistent.
It's lacking in quality.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I wouldn't agree. You look at the teams, especially near the top. You've got Bristol Rovers have got a good team. On paper, Swindon have got an excellent side. You've got a lot of really, really, really good footballing sides. Might be towards the top of the table. The bottom half might be a different story. But
they've suddenly gone larger and larger. Down the bottom, we don't look that far.
No, I'm just saying it might be a different story. But I think there's some good teams in this division this year. I think there's a certain talent disparity in the sense of, you look at how tight it is at the top, and there's a reason for that. And you look how close it is at the bottom as well, that there's a reason for that. But I don't necessarily think it's as we say regular, I don't get to have as many games I'd like to, but from the games I've watched, whether it's on iFollow or watch highlights back, or I do manage to get to, I'd say it was a very poor league in terms of officiating. Yeah.
I think everyone could agree the officiating's terrible.
Oh, we had Trevor Kettle on Saturday.
One of the worst.
The only reason I say what I say is because we've took points off most of the big teams. They're the majority of our points. We beat Northampton home and away. All right, Forest Green beat us both times, but they were both close games. I didn't really see much in it, and I don't think most of the fan base would agree on that. We beat Tranmere. We've got a point out of Mansfield. We've got a point out of yourselves.
This league for me is about consistency and who can put runs together.
Yeah. We've struggled against the small teams.
You take Forest Green and Exeter out the top two, and you look in the rest of the playoffs at the moment, there's not really a team in there that play a decent style of football. Northampton, rigid, difficult to beat. Port Vale the same. Newport go through spells of being a decent footballing side and then playing direct football. Rovers are Barton's trying to install that, but it's always going to be a ferocious style with Barton. And then you've got Tranmere under Mickey Mellon, who's exactly the same, that they're difficult to beat, hard-working teams. So I can see the point with the quality of the league, as in if you were looking at it as in a footballing aspect. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of squads with experienced players that are, that keep their sides at the top end of the league just by gritty and gritting out results and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting to see how different fan bases perceive it.
I think with League Two as well, season on season, each team that hasn't got a big budget, it's whoever spends their small amount of money the best, isn't it? Essentially, because everyone starts off with a very average base, and then you look at Accrington a few years ago, they had a nothing team, and then they brought in a couple of freebies, and then boom, they're in League One. It's just like, wow, what happened? They were shocking the year before, and then all of a sudden,
I think the prime answer to your question is something we discussed a week or two ago now, guys, where we were sort of saying we'd include ourselves in this. There are a number of teams currently in League Two who, without doing too much to their squad, could go into League One and do a reasonable job. There's not a massive gap between League One and League Two. There is in the very top of League One to the very bottom of League Two. But the core of it, you could swap teams about and it would look very similar.
That won't put us in there. I reckon if we went, we're finishing bottom with about 18 points.
Right, let's get some predictions. I'll go as you appear in order on my screen then. So obviously we've taken everything into account with Rochdale playing Tuesday as well. Ben, what will the score be on Saturday?
I think Swindon will win late on 2-1. Late on. I think the 2-week break will help us, and I think playing, Rochdale played 3 times. We haven't played at all in that time. So Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, I think we'll knock on the door in the last 10, 15 minutes and eventually they'll crack. So 96th minute again, Jack Payne.
And also thank you for clarifying what free means as well. I appreciate that. Tom?
Can I give 2 predictions?
Sure. As long as one of them's a Swindon win.
If our manager's still in place come Saturday, I'm going to go for a 2-0 Swindon win. If we've got a new interim in charge, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay. Warren?
Oh, God. I hate predicting because I'm garbage at it. I just think we've got a bit more to play for. That does concern me if you get a new manager, because even if it's an interim, you get that bounce. You get the players that haven't been in the first 11 that are chomping at the bit because they've got a fresh chance. That does concern me. So let's hope you get a result tomorrow and then it stays like that. Maybe a draw or something tomorrow. I just think we've got more to play for. And I just fancy, for us, the first goal is always key. 2-0 Swindon.
Woody?
Before I interrupt, sorry, can I interrupt? And we always playing against new managers. Walsall, we had a new one, didn't we? Bradford, we had a new one. And Oldham, Sheridan was pretty new. So it's almost certain that Rochdale
Was he?
Yeah, but we won all three, Ben.
Building up to Oldham for weeks.
No, he'd been there for about 4 or 5 games, which is probably about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
That's not new.
That's still honeymoon period.
He's due to be sacked again soon.
I hope so.
Anyway, Woody?
I was on the same thinking as Tom. I think it really depends on whether they got a manager. So, but if they've got the same guy in, whatever his face is, Stockdale, we'll win 2-0. If they change manager, we'll only win 1-0.
Ned?
Well, I'd love to be as positive. I think we're going to have a trash first 11 against Rochdale.
A trash or a trashed?
Yeah, trash without
Surely
Reed.
Surely that's with ED on the end, yeah?
No.
Come on,
Oh my God.
We're only missing McCurdy.
Reed and McCurdy, we've got nothing. Sorry.
We are
awful.
Ned,
We're awful.
Come on,
I'm going to interrupt.
Come on, Ned.
I'm going to interrupt you there, Ned. If you think that we have a trash 11 without McCurdy and Reed, we don't deserve to go up.
All right. They play trash without Reed and McCurdy.
Even Tom's like, come on, Ned. Even I know that's not true.
But like Williams is rubbish without Reed.
Yes. This is the man who coined the phrase. This is the man who coined the phrase, Johnny fucking Williams.
Yeah, but without Reed, he's not Johnny fucking Williams. He's just Johnny.
He's more Tom Daly.
I agree. I agree with Ned. I think we'll miss Reed more than McCurdy. I think Reed's a much bigger miss than McCurdy for me. I think McCurdy's replaceable. Whereas Reed in that position, I don't think there's anyone at the moment that could do it like he does.
No, exactly. I mean, he's so solid, stopping, breaking up play for when they're attacking, creating play when we're attacking. And we just look a shell of a team without Reed and no McCurdy as well, which means lack of goals. It'll be a miracle if we get a draw, in my opinion.
It would be a miracle if we get a draw.
It would be a miracle because
what happened to Ned?
It would mean that we're not going to score a goal with JML up front or Parsons up front. So
wow.
You've clearly not seen our back line.
I mean,
you've not seen JML.
Rich is like clawing away waiting to get involved.
It's really crap. Then even JML sounds like he could actually no, scrap that. Actually,
yeah, Rich, I mean,
oh,
you look at that chance he missed.
Yeah, and I just thought of that, to be honest with you, Ned, and then I thought, he's not going to have a better chance.
We're not going to create chances. We're not going to convert chances that we haven't created.
The only way JML is going to score again is if somebody smashes it against his backside.
I'm going to say now, JML won't start another game. I think his mind's made up with that miss. I think his days are done now. I think he'll be released, and I don't think he'll start.
He's somebody that should have gone on loan to Chippenham. No, he shouldn't. Because
he should have done his
game.
That's for some reason. Although I can see what you're trying to say there, that just sounds really disrespectful to Chippenham the way you said that.
No, but I mean, look what it did for Aguiar and look what it did for Parsons. You got it. They obviously got game time. They both scored goals and stuff like that. There's no disrespect. Well, they're 2-3 divisions lower than us, so it's not like there's disrespect. It's just that.
No,
I don't think JML's good enough for League Two.
I fully know what you intended to, but it's just the way you said there's someone that should have gone on loan. And it's like, whoa. So given that Ned thinks it's going to be a miracle if we even get a draw, Rich, what's your prediction, please?
Like I say, I think it all depends on, because a lot can change within 5 days. Like I say, it could be manager changes. We don't know who we've got available at the moment in terms of players, in terms of back from international duty, in terms of injuries, etc. So, but I'd like to say that we'll probably win 2-1. I think it'd be another game where potentially we might go like 1-0 down or something like that, and then we'll have to come back again. But yeah, no, I'd like to be optimistic and think 2-1. I don't agree that because we haven't had as many games as what Rochdale have had in the last week, that's going to make much of a difference. In fact, that could also propel them because they have had that game time.
Mm-hmm.
So to think that, because they've had a load of games, because they'll be tired and stuff like that, that's not the way it goes. And in fact, I think a lot of players, they'll have played so many games during the season that their fitness would be well up, whether or not they play good football or not. We've only been on the training pitch for the last week. So what does that tell you? At least it's match experience, match time, So
yeah, absolutely.
I think it'll all come down to it, and I'm sure we'll find out more on Friday in Garner's press conference. But until then, I think it's all up in the air. Oh, and obviously Rochdale's game tomorrow. Whatever result that they get, I'm sure it'll be an interesting one.
Well, thank you very much, gents. Very much appreciate it. Tom, I know you can't hang about for the full episode, so I did just want to ask you one other question if I can, and it links very much into what we do and stuff we say about other outlets. You obviously run a podcast of your own.
Yeah.
And it's something we're seeing a lot more of. We see ourselves as very fortunate at Swindon. There are so many different fan-created outlets of various descriptions that, there's a couple of podcasts, there's designated Twitter spaces, there's various things go on that we as a fan base are very lucky for. And just in speaking to you beforehand and looking for fans to come on to this, clearly you guys have a very similar thing there as well, where there's a few of you doing it. Do you believe fan-based content is the way forward?
I think so. I think it helps to give a truer reflection of what people see and think. I mean, that was kind of the idea of why we set it up in the first place. It was in the middle of the pandemic, and a bunch of us obviously hadn't seen each other for God knows how long, because I actually don't live in Rochdale myself personally anymore. So it was a good opportunity to vent and speak about the matches and do it in a constructed way. And it's just great. Yeah, I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. It's a really nice way just to talk things through and have a bit more constructed talk about it, but also be real with people.
No, that's exactly how we feel. I mean, everything you just said there, we started in the pandemic. Like you, I don't live in Swindon. It's a chance to talk to people about, the results, the performances, and get a real feel, because you can read, depending on where you are in the ladder, you can read newspapers and stuff, but to hear guys and girls, of course, who have actually been to the games and can tell you exactly and articulate it in a certain way, you really get a feel for it. So I agree. I think it's very important that there's as much fan-based content as there is standard media content, if you like.
Yeah, definitely.
And so how long so you said you started, was it at the beginning of the pandemic or halfway through?
It was kind of midway through the season. As I said, as we both know, we both had quite turgid seasons last year. And I think it got to a point of just turning into the new year, and it was looking pretty bleak for us. at that point, and I think we just all decided. One of my friends, it was actually kind of really my friend that put the idea forward. One of my co-hosts, Travis, and he said, "Oh, we should really do a podcast." And I was like, well, "Okay, well, what do you think?" And he's like, "You don't think we'd be really good at it? Just talking about football and giving our spin on it?" And at first, I was a bit apprehensive because there already is there is more now as well, but there already is a Rochdale podcast platform that's doing their thing as well, which is really good. But no, I thought, this is a good opportunity. I'm all up for it. And we just went from there, started recording, got one of my other friends in on it. And there's 3 of us that run it mainly. And we've just had a rotation of guests on over the past few months the year or so that we've been doing it. And it's been a really enjoyable experience.
Good. No, it's great to hear other people doing it. So keep up the good work, and by all means, you're more than welcome to stay on with us as long as you'd like to. We're going to move on now and look. We didn't, as I've said, we didn't have a game this weekend. So let's have a look at some of the results that in games that were of note to us and how they affected the table. Bradford drawing with Newport. We've said for the last couple of weeks, Bradford were going to be a team with a significant say in who makes the playoffs and gets autos of some of their performances. I think, Ben, you already mentioned Carlisle beating Rovers. We had Colchester. Colchester got a very late win at Tranmere as well. Exeter winning at Stevenage. Oldham losing to Mansfield. That was late as well, from what I remember. Very late, that goal. And Northampton winning at Hartlepool. So some results going our way, Ben, and some not so much.
Yeah, that John Sheridan again conceding against Mansfield. I hate him. He's never doing us any favours. But no, there was a mixed bag, wasn't there, the results? I think some were surprising. I wouldn't expect Rovers to lose in a million years to Carlisle. I think overall it was pretty good. I think we slipped down to 9th, and that looks alarming in itself. When you look, we're 9th now, but it's all still so tight. It's so tight. If we manage to pull off a win on Saturday, then we're right back in the middle of the mix again, and everything's looking rosy. If we don't pull off a victory Saturday, and then everyone starts going, "Oh, we falling away," there's injuries and all that. But so it's the biggest game of the season, isn't it? Coming up.
I mean, you seem to say that every week. This is the biggest game.
Well, it is at the moment. It's the running. The next game is the biggest game of the season, and it is when it's the running. The last 10 games, right? Rochdale is the biggest game, but after that, we've got whoever we've got next. That will be huge, humongous. That big game at Newport, that's massive. But so it's the running now. It's every game matters big time.
And Rich, is that the best way to look at it? That yes, certain results didn't go our way, but it certainly could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah, I could have done. All the teams could have won. Simple as that. All the teams up there in the running could have won. I think for us, I think we've got to start concentrating on ourselves now. I think all well and good that teams are dropping. We've got a game in hand over.
Take advantage.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a game in hand now over 4 or 5 of the teams. To be honest, though, a lot of the time, I'd actually prefer to have the game over the team that has a game in hand, because
points are always more important than games in hand.
Exactly. And I think also although they could win, although that team behind us could win that game in hand, they could, I would be more relaxed than us knowing that we've got those points already, and that they've got to work hard now to get those points and win the game. And if they don't, then obviously they draw or lose the game, and then that's an advantage to us. So I think any way we can get an advantage now, but we've just got to keep winning games. I mean, that is all we've got to do. The ball's in our court. It's ours to lose now. So if we have lost players, then, adapt. I know you haven't been graced with the best team in the world, but this season, or the biggest depth of team this season, but you're the manager of the team. You've got us this far, right? Think of a way of trying to get us into either cemented into the playoff positions, or actually try and get us into the automatics. at the end of the day, as simple as it is, you just got to win games, and especially now in this time of the season. And he's had that 2 weeks now to actually think, right, what's my plan now from here to the end of the season? This is where we're at. Teams have lost, but we got to concentrate on ourselves at the end of the day. And like I say, it's ours to lose.
I'm very intrigued by what is currently in the Wiltshire water, because you've all gone a bit savage between Ned randomly declaring that our squad is shit to Rich saying, got a few injuries. Oh, well, adapt.
At the end of the day, though, you've got to, if you're a manager in just like a normal working job and stuff like that, and one of your people,
when has anyone ever described football management as any normal job?
It's not. But at the end of the day, management is the same in any role you do. Okay. And you've got to adapt things. And if you don't adapt to what you've got, then that's it.
He's had 2 weeks. He's had 2 weeks knowing what he's got and to prepare. This is new season, 8-game season. Go off, lads. Rest your muscles. Get into it. This is how we're going to work at it.
I'm so glad you guys are throwing in every cliche you can think of. It's going to do us very well for one of the topics we've got coming up.
I think he can change his name now to Cliche Ben.
Cliche
exactly.
Ben. We've got Premature Joe. We might as well have Ben the Cliche. Woody, Ned, Warren, anything else you want to add on the results from the weekend and our position in the table before we move on to some of the more debatable topics?
I think the results have done us a favour in terms of not every, like we say, every team could have won or every team could have lost, but it's just opened up how realistic and how close this league is. We if we win on Saturday and then beat Newport, we could be in the top 4. It's one of those. And I think. I agree with Rich. We do need to adapt, because I've just had a look at some of the injured players lists and things like that. Newport got 5 players out injured at the moment, like 5 key registered squad players out injured, and they're not coming on to podcasts and saying we're missing 1 player, we're missing 2 players. We've said for a long time on this pod that we have a squad strong enough to go up. We've all said that. All of us on this pod have said we've got a strong enough.
I stand by that.
Up. And I stand by our best 11 is the best 11, probably the best 11 in this league. So we can't say that we're the only ones that are hampered by injuries, because like I say, Newport, Exeter have got a couple of injuries, and things like that. We're not the only ones that are being hampered by these injuries. So yeah, I agree with Rich. We just need to get on with it now. And I agree with Ben. Ghana's had nearly 2 weeks to work with them now. Do
you want to agree with Ned as well for anything?
I agree with Ned that I don't agree with Ned. No. I normally do agree with Ned on a lot of things, but I just think this happens every season to every single club. Like, injuries start to happen. We're in League 2 for a reason, and that was a really interesting point earlier about the quality of League 2. I think this is actually, in terms of not necessarily the quality, but this has been one of the best League 2 seasons in terms of the unpredictability. Forest Green are probably going to win it, but it's not obvious yet, because they had that slip up. But I think what doesn't help that, and we probably should have said it earlier, is the quality of National League is so good now. It's so much better now, and the football's so much better because the majority of teams are playing on 3G pitches and things like that. Sometimes it does make some of the teams in League 2 not look as strong. But yeah, are you
linking towards discussing the Wrexham game by any chance?
The Wrexham game?
Is that the one that finished 6-5?
Oh no! I wasn't even referencing that. But I just look at I follow quite a few of the non-league sides like Dorking and things like that, and I just look at how the football they play is so good, and it's probably helped by these 3G pitches. And I think that has a hindrance on your Rochdales and things like that, who have kind of lingered in the lower tiers for a long time now. And it just makes a difference, doesn't it? That's why we play nice football, because the county ground is a decent pitch. But I think we do need to kind of tear away from this. Our season's over because McCurdy's injured, or our season's over. Well, we think McCurdy's injured, I think it's made it harder. Don't get me wrong, it's made it harder, but I still think we've got a strong enough squad to pull off the results we need. I can't remember. I think I was the most optimistic the other week when we said out of the remaining games, I said that we would get nine wins out of the remaining 12 or whatever it was, and I still stand by that now, even though we were shit against Crawley.
If we just want to put I can't even say an analogy forward, I think Swindon Town has masterfully created a wonderful grandfather clock in such a way that all the cogs are the same size. We've got 14 cogs. There's 12 cogs are required. However, if we have any of those cogs go out of action, one more than the 11 or 12, then that's it. We are screwed because we've got nothing to replace them with. This is
so negative tonight, Ned.
I have absolutely no idea what the hell Ned is actually talking about.
It just means if you're taking pieces out of the clock, it falls to shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right,
It's a well-oiled machine until you remove the cogs that don't work. And
exactly.
Sorry, old grandfather clocks weren't around when I was growing up. So
if you have a cog this size and you try and stick this size Louis Reed, and then you try and stick in this size JML, it doesn't fit in, and it doesn't do a good job.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can I just say one thing? Even though everyone says how bad we were against Crawley, without Reed, and Crawley are a mid-table team, we still created 20 clear-cut chances. And Louis Reed's not a striker, so we still created 20, so we can still create.
And McCurdy was playing that game as well.
McCurdy was playing, but
still lost
5 or 6 them away.
And as we all said, Crawley are dog shit, absolute dog shit. Each one of their players are dog shit. So
but they're still.
Was it not Friday night you were telling us we should sign 2 of them? Oh no, that was Oldham players.
It's mostly Oldham. There was one Nadasan. He's full of industry, as I described, but maybe Garner can teach him to do something with a ball. But I mean, I don't know. I'm obviously feeling incredibly negative today, but we I'm
guessing you didn't get a good reception to Mother's Day, and you're just taking it out on us, Ned.
No, I scored big time on Mother's Day. I played a blinder. So maybe I'm more deflated after the elation of Mother's Day.
Warren, anything you want to throw in before we move on to some of the other topics?
Yeah. So for me, I just think that we've got, like Woody said, I think we have got the best 11 on paper, a best 11 playing football. But this league will not be the best team playing football wins this league, because it's not that league. It's not that league inclined. It's someone rigid like a Northampton will go. You know what I mean? It's just we play the best football. I agree, totally agree. We're up there with the Forest Greens playing a decent style, but there's something about us where I'm just thinking we're just going to play well, but just not get the results when we needed. And sometimes you just think I'd rather be that team. Like we said, we created really well on Saturday and stuff. At this time of the season, if we create 2 chances and score 2, I'm more than happy with that, and we get the result, because it's all about the points now. It doesn't matter.
Certainly better than creating 20 and scoring 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's where I fear for us at the moment, because I think that's what it'll be. We'll turn up to games and we'll probably perform really well and take teams on, and we'll be the better team. But the pressure will get to us where we think, well, we still need to be winning the games, even though we're playing well. And I just think that's where we could just slide under. I'm not being as negative as Ned, but I do agree with his point that we miss a couple of key players and it hurts us more because of our style of play. When you play that shit out style of football, you've got one just to jump in and replace that shit style of football. But for us, it's the difference, and it makes it really tricky for us. Yeah, I don't know.
It's certainly a fascinating discussion, and one that's going to go on for a few weeks yet. And each result is going to change everyone's opinion. We win, and Ned might be lukewarm. We lose, and fuck me, I'm not recording one next week.
Oh God.
Right, let's move on to some of the other more debatable questions that I've got noted, and we're going to start by one that was sent in by, actually, I'm going to mix it around. I want to start with the one that Daz sent in to us. It's one of these hypotheticals. He's thrown a couple of these at us this season. I know how much Woody loves a hypothetical. So I will read this, and it's a simple answer. You can keep it to one word if you like, Ben. This is the question. Swindon draw Oxford in the first round of the Watch the Paint Dry on a Burnt Pizza Cup. You get 2 tickets for it. Do you A, take one of your fellow podcast panelists, and if so, who? Or B, give them away because you hate the competition? Rich.
What do it have to be me for? Neither.
Neither?
You wouldn't take any of us, but you'd go anyway.
You're going and not taking
I might take Woody because we go to the games anyway every now and then. So yeah, probably. Yeah, probably the first one.
So you're going with Woody. Ned?
Yeah, I'm denied over this for quite a considerable amount of time actually. I had Ben on my list. I did have Warren on my list, Joe, Woody.
And then they all disagreed with you.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Did have me? What did you do? Scribble it out? Like he's gone. Maybe.
It's a bit like building a Sunday league team, isn't it?
Further and further down the list until you finally get to Rich.
The thing is, at least you've all made the list. I've not even heard my fucking name yet.
Hold up. But like, I thought, if I'm going to take anyone, it's going to have to be Fifey because he put this all together. He doesn't live locally, so come on down. Let's have a hot tub. Let's go and watch football and have a few beers.
Nice.
Sounds like a plan. Day and everything like that.
Get the Prosecco in.
Intertwine arms, drinking each other's Prosecco.
Woody?
It must be getting near annual appraisal, so I'll take you, Fifey. Rich will be going anyway, so I wouldn't worry about him. I'd be going. I go to those games anyway. So as you all know, I'm not against the competition. So yeah, and the Oxford game last time we played them was actually a decent game of football. So when we beat them on pens and Will Henry saved the pen. So
Big 3, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Warren?
Oh, I'd give them away. Can't stand it. Don't care.
I respect the honesty.
Yeah, probably get tonked by Oxford anyway, as horrible it is to say. You know what I mean? It is what it is. They're better than us at the moment. It hurts.
I'm choosing Warren again.
It hurts it to say. I'd give it away to Fifey and Ned just because I want to see those intertwining arms with the
Ben?
I'd just say that Oxford United are a Tim Pot club with 3 stands, non-league.
That means they're getting promoted to the championship then, Ben?
But no, obviously, right. Jack was sat behind me before he got sent upstairs to bed and said, "You better take me. That
wasn't an option.
No, it wasn't an option. So if Jack was late, or it'd be a weekday, so Jack would be at school, so he wouldn't be able to go anyway. So of course, if I had to take anyone, it would be because he never gets to go to a game. I would also take Fifey.
And you all gone soppy on me. I think it's only right I answer it, and I can't take all of you obviously, so I'd have to consider it. Ben would already have a ticket, no doubt. Woody would already have a ticket, no doubt, as would Ned, as would Rich. So I'm thinking I'd take Craig, just because he's not here.
He hates it. It's Craig.
Yeah, and because he hates it, maybe I could change his mind. I'm sure he'd love a ticket to Oxford.
Fifey, you said everyone's name then, and then I was like, it's going to be me. It's going to be me.
I was waiting for one show. He's going to completely miss off Wazza and just go straight for one show.
I've been away for a few weeks from flipping heck.
Well, the thing is, mate, I know you're so well connected that you'd probably end up in the sponsors lounge for it.
Wow. Yeah, would you?
Not for that,
wouldn't he?
Not for that. Besides, it probably would have been you had it not been for 30 seconds ago. You'd say, I'll get rid of the fuckers. I don't even like the competition.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Unfortunately, though, all the hospitality was brought up by Rich. So, You wouldn't there, I'm afraid.
Him on his own because he wouldn't like to be hassled.
Have his photo with the trophy.
Look at it. There's no denial. There's no denial there. He knows he can do it as well.
No.
God, I'd love to be.
That's his whole input. He's just unmuted himself to say no, and then.
I'd love to be £1,000 behind you in the bank, Rich. £1,000. I'd take £1,000 behind you.
So I've been looking through a lot of different social media posts, and I'm not even going to deny it. Some of them I'm just kind of tweaking because I think they're interesting questions. And there was one that I shared yesterday, so I have tweaked it. And it was about which player in the squad do you think you have a different opinion to the majority of your fan base? Now, it's very difficult to pick one maybe from the current squad because everyone knows who everyone thinks is good. Everyone knows who everything is less good. And there's not really an in-between. So I'm going to broaden that out and I'm going to say pick a player from your time supporting Swindon that your opinion differs from everyone else, whether it's someone that everyone rates as epic and you thought was shit, or someone that everyone thinks was shit and you thought was really good. Ben.
Oh, you start with me.
Behave.
Do you know, the only one I can think of that I was saying is quite current at the moment is one of our current players, and that was Ben Gladwin. He gets a lot of stick, and will be next season's. I don't think Conor will be with us next season. He will be next season's scapegoat. People, whenever we lose and he plays, and we lose and we go in a bad run, he's going to get it, and you know he is, and I think he will. And I think he's actually quite a good player, and I think he offers quite a lot. I think he's got a good range of passing. I think his abilities are better than this division, and I think playing at a high level suits him a little bit more. I think he's got a talent and an ability to read the game more than your average League Two player. He does get caught a little bit on the ball. He does need an extra touch when he lacks confidence. He's very much a confidence player, and he also needs rhythm of games. But when he's on it, I don't think many teams can touch him. But a lot of people think, oh, he's fucking shit, Ben Gladwin. So, Ben Gladwin.
Next, I'm going to ask Ned.
Well, I've only wrote one name down, so I'll have to go with him, I guess.
So, I'm only asking for one name, Ned. I'm not asking for a squad of players.
Kind of the aim of the game, Ned.
I know, but I wanted to try because I didn't really like the first one I came up with. But I was trying to think of someone that everyone thought was shit, but I thought was actually okay. If that's okay with you, Fifey.
That's exactly what I'm after.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so I thought this player, I will reveal his name at the end and see if you can guess who it is.
Oh God! It's not through the keyhole, isn't it? Or the singer.
Last season, no one was particularly good last season, let's be honest with ourselves. But I thought this player stood out a little bit for me in the middle of the park. He got released at the end of the season to a fanfare from our fans because no one seemed to like him. But I thought...
Brett Pittman.
Oh, Brett Pittman. I thought for us at least anyway, he didn't really play that well for Oldham the other day. But I thought Christopher Missilou, I thought was all right. I thought he was half decent.
I thought he was all right.
I thought it was like a Wilkinson's Kante.
Oh, that might be a step too far, but hey.
I don't think you could be a step too far with Wilkinson's anything, but I just thought in the middle of the park he wasn't particularly big, he wasn't particularly tall, didn't win anything in the air, but I just thought he broke up, played well.
He tried really hard.
That's it. He would have got a Clubman of the Year award if there was one. No, I just thought he seemed to break up and play well. I think we played better with him in the team than not him in the team. But I think who I would go with.
I agree. I think as well. I think he was shadowed by Anthony Grant as well. I think everybody was kind of automatically comparing him to Anthony Grant. and expecting him to be the same player. I think he was an okay player, just in a very...
Is that a little bit in the same way that East is shadowed by everyone else in midfield, and like everyone says, oh, he's no good by comparison, but that's because he's a completely different player?
Yeah.
Woody's thinking, oh shit, all I've done is slag him off the last 3
East was going to be my... East was going to be my player. So,
well, go on then. Give us the feedback on East now that I've ruined it for you.
Well, no, I did have a couple. I was more thinking this season. I can't think really back in terms of other seasons really, but East for me, just because I seem to remember there seemed to be a little bit of hype about him when he was coming over, and I just don't see it. I generally just don't see it even when he's played 90 minutes or whatever. I just don't see it. Unfortunately, it's just not for me, and it's just. But I know that there are people that do think he's all right, and they might feel sorry for him because he's, like you say, he's probably overshadowed by Reed and things like that. But unfortunately, if you're not good enough, mate, I'm not going to like you. And the other one,
there's Woody's savage tick for the night.
Yeah, the other one
Only
was.
one, Woody.
The other one was. Yeah, I'm going to have another one because I thought of it just as Ben said. Fucking Ben Gladwin, like he is a 75-25 player. 25% of the game he'll do something good. 75% of the game he's just lazy. So yeah, that's my other one that I was thinking of until Ben said it.
Okay. Warren,
going off like the last all the seasons that he's been here, I think only just this season has he started getting the recognition he deserves, and it's Rob Hunt for me. I think since he's been at Swindon, I think he has been a solid. You will get a 7 or 8 out of 10 from him every single week. No frills, no spills, does his job. You know what I mean? It can't be that exciting at wing back, but I think he always gets forward. Defensively, I think he's very good. Just a solid player at this level. And I think a lot of people would be the first to go, oh, Hunt, yeah, if we had to pick someone to get out of the team or something, a lot of people would have gone, oh, Hunt. But this season, he's finally got a bit of recognition like he deserves, and been given the armband shows that how respected he is within the squad. And yeah, I think he's a solid player.
I think he got recognition in the first season, just under the previous managers. I don't know if I've mentioned him before. I didn't think he got the best out of him at all.
Rich.
Actually, as a player that's actually thriving now at a club in the Championship, and I actually didn't think he was too bad for us. The only issue with him was that he was consistently offside, but apart from that, he scored goals for us, and he made himself a nuisance in the box as Elijah Adebayo.
Yeah, he got
a lot of players, everybody hated him, and I actually thought when he
hated him.
Well, they just thought he was rubbish, but obviously he was very young when he was with us, and he did do. Although I think it was all part of his. Obviously, it's all part of your learning, especially when he came to us when he was only 19. But the fact that he came in first couple of games, he actually scored goals as well. There was something in that player, and I actually really rated him. Obviously, with any striker, to
judged on goals.
Well, judged on goals, yeah, but it's how you can improve. And one of his flaws, and Wellens was very vocal about it, was that he was very offside a lot. But a lot. But I mean, those are things that you can work on. That might have just been, he wasn't fit enough or something like that. Who knows? But
just shows he's getting the service now. So you know what I mean. Strikers thrive off that, don't they? And
absolutely. So I always rated him. I thought he was a good player. It was a shame that we actually didn't develop him as best we probably could have done when he came on loan to us.
For regular viewers, stroke listeners, my selection isn't going to surprise too many people because I've spoken about him a few times before. But I am going to go back a few years, and I'm going to go for my mate Zaboo.
Oh right.
Everyone thought he was fucking awful. And I didn't. I thought there was a genuinely good left winger for the Football League in there. And there was times where he put in average to poor performances, the same as every player at this level. But there were times where he could beat 3-4 men, deliver a ball, and we would score. And I thought he was a decent player, and that's my choice. I'm sticking to it.
I like Zaboob. I thought he was class.
That's Zaboob.
The next question. Oh, sorry, Ned. Go on.
One more. Alex Gilbert. Everyone thought he was okay. I thought he was shit. Carry on.
Don't fucking do this to us again. We're just going to go mad.
I just wanted to see his face. Sorry, Rich. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I completely forgot about that, actually.
Rich is just he's currently got his laptop open. He's just going through who he could pay to have you seen off for that.
Contract on Ned's line.
Luke has sent in a couple of questions for you as well, guys. So the first one being, with the drawings of the new county ground circulating, which features are most important to you? And he's given examples of things like floodlights, etc. He went on to say, for him personally, I would miss the floodlights most if they went. Is his view. So Ben, with the pictures circulating, what are the key features for you?
I think it's important that we keep the clock. If we can keep the floodlights, or at least 2 of them anyway, because I don't think you'd be able to hold them at the new town end. That'd be quite important, because it's important that we do keep the character of the ground, its soul. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest worry, that it eludes out and just becomes this soulless thing that a lot of the larger grounds are like. So that's important. Statues are good. I think it's good to recognise what's happened in our past, and whilst they're still alive as well, especially John Trollope and Don Rogers.
On that note, I don't know if anyone else saw the tweet, but there was quite an interesting one that I quite liked about how, completely agree, statues to resemble key figures in our history, but they seem to be focused on certain timeframes at the moment, and that there are players, even when Swindon necessarily haven't been at their best, have been a big influence on what's happened around the club. And there was, so I can't remember who it was, I'd have to dig the tweet out, but they were like some sort of STFC Walk of Fame with like key figures from town throughout various seasons. I quite like that.
Yeah. Well, it needs to still feel like home. We need to still turn up. It needs to still feel like it's the county ground. So that's the most important thing about it in that sense, and just to build up the atmosphere as well. And I look forward to seeing it.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Rich?
My seat, because apparently it's going now, because the Don Roger and my seat's one of the seats where they're going to build the box.
Right. So you want your seat?
I want my seat. I want to keep my seat, but
you'll have your box, mate. You'll have your own box.
Yeah, you'll have your own
exactly.
box.
Stop worrying, Rich.
He's saying he wants his seat. He's the one that's actually put the money in for the box.
Yeah, you'll have your box, mate. I've had a seat with people bringing you prawn sandwiches and all sorts. You'll love it.
Yeah, you'll be in between 2 boxes.
I think in fairness, Ben, I think you've gone too far. As much as we rip Rich for being rich by name,
I think I'd have prawn sandwiches.
He's definitely not a prawn sandwich guy.
No, he's not, mate. I'm only joking.
I was going to say that, but I was waiting for you to say that.
You've got a $1,000 sauce with it.
Warren?
Don't really know. I'd love it. It's one of those that I don't think they're going to be able, even with a new renovation. I think everyone's crying out for it. I think it's a massive thing for the club. I'm just buzzing to see what it's like. Ben said, I just think it's going to be amazing. Buzzing just to see it, what the club can do with it. Now we're going to get it off the council, and it's just going to be properly ours, isn't it? So I think whatever they do, like. I agree to leave the sentimental sort of stuff, but I think it's just a great thing to have a new era. And I just think, do what you want with it. Let's get it, you know what I mean? I'd love the Stratton Bank to be properly used as well and stuff like that. Get a roof on that and let's turn it into a proper, because you go to some grounds and it's just brilliant, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I think we could proper make something out of this, and let's go for it.
Well, the bank will have home fans in when the Townend's been on for a season, won't it? Or 2 seasons. So that's going to be quite good. And I'll see what acoustics they have there.
Yeah, I'm with Warren. I think I just excited to see it all happen. If hopefully it does, as per the plan. I think we can't underestimate how much of an impact the hotel, conference centre, whatever is going to have. I mean, that did wonders at Reading, absolute wonders at Reading. So yeah, I think that's from a as somebody who's, I guess, currently inside the club, that's so important to be able to generate.
Yes, you're literally your literal background picture is you in the county ground.
I'm literally, it's not. It doesn't get dark in the county ground. It just doesn't get dark. It's those really powerful floodlights. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to us to have the biggest thing for me. Unfortunately, as much as I like the idea of statues, that's not on the top of my priorities. Unfortunately, I think as long as we're not funding them, I'd like to see fundraising done for them. Like I think. The trust are planning to do.
Yeah, the trust, all the money we put into the trust, they're paying for it. It's coming out of the trust.
Yeah. So that side of it I support, but I just want it to be a little bit of a kind of money making machine, really, because that's what's going to contribute to our future.
Ned,
as you can imagine, I've given this some thought.
Go on, Ned. Go on, Ned. Here we go.
Wait. Before you do, I will only cut you off if your thought is. The ground's shit and it's going to be even shitter.
Absolutely not. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. So all the things less than sort of 2 meters tall should be going into this museum anyway. The clock. I don't think the clock should remain there because I would like to think that we're going to have some kind of new screen with a clock inclusive. So move the clock into the museum, the dugouts into the museum, maybe one of the floodlights into the museum. It's not the whole thing, just the actual frame.
That's a really poor indictment of Swindon Town's history if we're filling our museum with floodlights.
We're just emptying out the John Murray building and moving that across to be the Swindon Town Museum. So I don't think we should keep any of the stuff. I think we should just move all of it into the museum because there's so much stuff that means a lot to a lot of people. But the one things I would keep in the ground, and that's the away ends, toilets and stuff, because it's fucking disgusting. And I don't care what facilities they have. In fact, make it as dire day as possible, as far as I'm concerned. So they can keep their shitty, broken facilities that they keep breaking because they're wankers. So if they want
all away fans,
if all away fans want to come here and break our toilets, then let's not ever fix our toilets because that's just a complete waste of money anyway. But what I would say with this new thing, I mean, I love the idea of the Dom Rogers, statue, whatever you want to call it. What I would like to see is like a long, almost like a Bayer tapestry type thing, not made of blooming fabric, obviously, but just like through the years, like timeline of things that have happened over the years. You can get some local artists to create a paper mache type thing, and then you just cover it over in metal. I think it would look really, really good. I'd also
Can you go through your timeline for us, Ned?
The timeline? Well, the club was created, and then it went to the.
And John Sheridan took over.
86. Oh yeah, sorry, 1969. The cup thing.
69.
But all the main points through history, that the club are proud of, and I wouldn't stick the non-proud bits in there, but I would save that for the museum. But all the
what classes is a non-proud bit?
We wouldn't have enough fabric.
Oh, Mike Hillier placed a bet on Newcastle to beat Swindon. Oh, celebrate, like a cow of him sort of going into a Ladbrokes, yeah.
Lucarian Ladbrokes, like that.
But I think that would be better for me because that would probably cost the same amount as a statue. I think someone local could do that, or even art students or whatever. I think they could do that, and I think it would be something for people to look at every home game because it would be, for me, it would be really cost-effective way of making a big thing.
Regardless of what happens, I'm now very excited for Ned to go in as the curator of the Swindon Town Museum, because I think if he has his way, it would be one hell of an entertaining afternoon.
It would be. It would be. And I think can we get Sarah to make the Bear Tapestry of Swindon? And
it's not going to be made of fabric, Ben. I just want to.
She's not going to sew it now.
Because the thing is, it will be done, and then within a year, it'll be manky and mouldy.
Oh,
have to be thrown away. But I think like a long sheet of metal type thing, where it's the picture's indented into the metal, so it will stay there for many years to come. Have Jan Åge Fjørtoft doing that and all this sort of stuff. I'd love that.
I'm sure it's no reflection of your point, but it looks like it's getting past Rich's bedtime, so I'm inclined to move on to the next topic. And Luke's second question: if you can only take 3 players of the current squad into next season, regardless of division, which 3 are you taking?
Good question. Like it.
Warren.
Louis Reed, Johnny Williams, Jack Payne.
Okay.
That's
Rich?
Yeah, Reed, McCurdy, and I'd say probably probably Jack Payne as well.
Okay. Ned?
Yeah, Reed, McCurdy, and Louis Barry.
Okay.
Ooh.
Woody?
Same as Ned.
Okay. So you are going to agree with Ned tonight?
I'm not. I just felt a bit bad.
Ben?
Well, Reed, McCurdy, and Jack Payne. However, seriously thinking about Louis Thompson, not Louis Thompson. What's his name?
From One Direction.
Tomlinson.
That's actually not a bad shout. Actually, I'd probably change
is,
Payne to Tomlinson. Actually,
yeah, I would. I'm gonna know about Tomlinson and Payne, because Tomlinson's going to be some player.
And Jojo.
Jojo, but yeah, I'd probably edge Jack Payne.
See, now you're just talking yourselves out of 3, and you're going to all swap your 3s.
Yeah, let me know swapping.
Yeah, no swapping. That's it. I'm done.
I mean, I'm quite impressed with how quickly you all decided your 3 then. I kind of thought that might have been a bit more difficult for you.
We probably all got 6. We just picked random 3.
I spent a long time on that one. There's a lot of chopping and changing on that one, I got to be honest.
Louis Barry is quite good. I rate Louis Barry loads, and there's people go, oh shit. No, I do. I think, well, you and I, when we watched the Walsall game together, he was amazing that game. I hope we can see that Louis Barry back. I hope he plays like that consistently, and we've got a shout.
Yeah. I think with Louis Barry, he's still got a lot to prove. So he did great against Walsall, fantastic, but before that, obviously a couple of the games before, I just he was sort of what I expected, that he was going to be that player that's come in and he's not going to do an awful lot, like sort of thing like that. But like I say, hopefully this injury hasn't affected him too much. Hopefully he can come back in before the end of the season and see the Louis Barry that we saw against Walsall, because that's what we really need by now.
We need that massively, especially if McCurdy Williams is true.
So the next question for you all, and this is going to become the official Fools Rush In dictionary or thesaurus or something along those lines. So I've very forwardly gone with continental long ball and tried to get it into conversations all over the shop, to the point that Woody is using it mainly for his own amusement, but it is cropping up in conversation in Ned's personal life. What is a continental long ball? And then just the other day, I saw one of the Sutton sort of blog podcasts that we've spoken to in the past. They used a term, lots of agricultural challenges going in. And I thought, I like that. I like the use of agricultural challenge. So gentlemen, here's my question for you. come up with a football term along those lines that either doesn't get used enough or doesn't get used at all, that we think should be much more in the football fans' vocabulary. I can see you all thinking about it. Who wants to go first?
Oh, it's one you need to give us like 10 minutes on, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, you can't come out with a.
Can you come
I
back?
reckon Ned's got 12 written down.
Yeah.
I didn't know this is a
Can we
question.
come back to that one? Let's have a little
Okay,
think.
you want to come back to that one at the end then? Give you time to think about it. Okay. One more question then before we let Woody give us the women's roundup for this week, and it's about club v country and where we all stand on the debate of would you rather see X do that or Y do that, and where we stand on it. So for me, for the longest time, I always said there was always a small part of me that said one day I will see Swindon be really, really good and get as far as the Premier League. Now, bear in mind, I've never even seen us in the Championship. I know Rich wouldn't have done either.
Nobody has.
Ben saw us in the Premier League.
I've seen it.
Oh, you said the Championship.
Oh, yes, because it didn't exist then. Very, very clever.
Second tier.
Smart ass.
I've seen the second tier.
Anyway, so I always said I would pick seeing England win the World Cup over that, because I always believed Swindon getting to the Premier League was a more realistic ambition. However, England have improved in recent years, and that's meant my desire to see Swindon succeed has probably overtaken. So at what point for you guys does country overtake club? You know, what, or vice versa, depending on your perspective. If I offered you Swindon in the Championship over England winning the World Cup, what are you offering? If I said Swindon in the Premier League over the World Cup, which are you taking? If I said Champions League over World Cup, what are you taking, Ben?
If you said Swindon sustainable in the Championship or England to win the World Cup, I'd take the Championship. I wouldn't have always had that decision. I want to see England win I think I will see England win a World Cup or a major honour before I die. I like to think so. But yeah, I'd love to see just that.
He's looking at the clock though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ben was looking at the clock as he said that.
I've got about 35 to 40 years left, so you know I'm hoping.
That's not what Sarah tells us.
But yeah, no, it's just because I've seen Swindon play second tier, and I took that for granted back then, and I just love to see it again. Really would. I miss it.
Okay, so anything below sustainable in the Championship? Are you picking England?
League One. If you say League One or England win the World Cup, England win the World Cup, because I want to see it before I die.
Okay, Woody.
I'd love to see England win the World Cup. For me, Swindon will always be a club, whether we're sustainable in whatever division or whatever. For me, definitely England to win the World Cup on that.
Okay, so the opposite for you then. At what point, what would I have to offer you to take England winning the World Cup, or is there nothing? Just England winning the World Cup is the thing you want to witness.
I don't think there is anything, because I don't think maybe people realise the impact of England winning a World Cup would actually have on English football teams. It would be massive. You know, we saw what it did when we got to the final. We saw, you know, in semi-finals and things like that. We see what it does to the country then. You wait until you see the country if we win a World Cup. I think now it's kind of over the next 10 years or never. But it's
we said that during the golden generation though.
Yeah,
I didn't, FYI. But the sorry, it's always going to be, because Swindon will always be, you know, I'll support Swindon whether they're a non-league, you know, not that we ever will be. So for me, it's England winning the World Cup.
Okay, Ned.
England winning the World Cup is great for a night on the piss, but that's about it for me. I really couldn't.
It would be a
less.
summer on the piss.
I'd rather see England win all the under 18, under 19, under 21s, because that's going to show that we're going to have really, really good players coming through.
No, I disagree, because we've done that recently.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, but we've had some unbelievable players come through, haven't we? You know, in the last few years, you've got to be honest with yourselves there. What do you mean? What have they done?
Well, they haven't won the World Cup, have they?
Oh, who gives?
Or the
I
Euros.
just told you I don't give a shit about the World Cup. I'm talking about players.
He wants
actually
the
doing
19 World Cup.
It's
the
all well and
real
good bringing these
sport,
players
the
through,
club
but if they're not
level.
going to do anything, then what's the
Who
fucking
gives a
point?
shit about the World Cup? I mean, it's great for a night on the piss.
To
be honest, who cares?
To be fair, Ned, I support Ireland anyway, so I don't really care. But
It
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
but the
matter.
question is,
And-
No,
the
never
question,
win a
Rich,
World
is
Cup.
club v country, so
Well,
you can base it on
this is-
Ireland.
this is what I was just going to say. So, I mean,
Winning the Nations League.
I don't think we've got any issues. Ireland
Qualifying.
winning a major trophy at any point. So, I would stick with Swindon. So.
Okay, so for both of you then, what would I? So Ned, you've made it perfectly clear you don't care about the World Cup as such.
As I said, it's all about the players coming through and then showing something in the Premier League.
But does
For
not
me, that's more important. That's more what I care about.
Okay,
Swindon
so
beating Rochdale.
in terms of that,
I'd rather see that than England win the World Cup.
Okay, so in terms of that though, is that at every level? So if I offered you Swindon winning League Two or England winning the World Cup, are you saying Swindon to win League Two?
If England winning the World Cup doesn't affect me, so if it means one or the other, I'll take Swindon winning the league any day of the week.
Okay, fair enough.
Honestly, I don't really.
No, I know
care
a lot
about
of people who
national
are
teams.
really disconnected from international football, so it's
Does
interesting.
not make a difference in my life whatsoever. Watching England playing friendlies, couldn't care less.
That's true.
It's just a waste of a weekend when Swindon can't play another game or watch Premier, match of the day at 10:15 or whatever it is. I couldn't care less about international football.
But just to be devil's advocate, I know I get the opinions on international football, but in order for our under 17s, 21s, and all of that to progress, we need the first team to be doing well. So surely to win a World Cup would allow the FA or permit the FA to want to plough more money into the lower league, therefore producing lower age groups, therefore producing better players for us to eventually watch in the Premier League. I mean, you look at the young, you make a great point about players coming through, but the England under 17 World Cup winning squad, only 4 of them are playing higher in the top tier of English football or any other football.
But we are supplying the German league like crazy.
I do get the kind of disconnect from international. I do get that point. Because even I sometimes watch. I don't bother with all the friendlies, but I just think that from a background of the FA, from a coaching point of view, from a thingy point of view, winning the World Cup would have such an emphasis on so much as it does in so much. There's a reason why Brazil's, Italy's, Germany's, things like that, they win multiple World Cups, because they win a World Cup, the country get interested, they plow money in, they win another World Cup, and I do get the disconnected point.
Okay, so Rich, similar for you then. At what point would Ireland's success overtake Swindon's success for you?
I mean, if they ever did win a major honour, then all day long. But I think we all know that's not going to happen. So
Greece did.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, fair point.
No one ever said Leicester would win the Premier League.
No, look, listen, I mean, I think from a realistic point of view, I think obviously...
No, this isn't realistic, Rich. This is
okay, then, well, yeah, no, obviously if they want
fantasy football.
If they want a major honour, then obviously, yeah, it's very difficult. Any major honour that Swindon win is always a fantastic success. Obviously, I follow them up and down the country. But also I do try and make the effort whenever I can do to go over to Ireland and watch the Ireland game. So, it is very difficult, and it's something I'll probably stick to on a neutral basis. The fact that actually I think both have as much impact of me watching football than ever. So,
Warren?
I'm with Woody. I love Swindon Town. I'll always love Swindon Town, whether they're League Two, Championship, Premier League. Don't get me wrong, it would be fantastic, wouldn't it? But the atmosphere that the World Cup creates, or a Euro competition when we're going far into the tournament, it just don't. It brings, what you've got to remember as well is it brings everyone together in football. because you can be a fan of Swindon, you could be a fan of Oxford, you could be a fan of Manchester United, City, whatever you want to do. Do you know what I mean? It just brings everyone together because everyone gets behind it. You go down the atmosphere is just amazing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I've had some great atmospheres at Swindon games, but for me, like some of the World Cup games or the Euros, and it would just be the pinnacle, I think, personally. And that is the pinnacle of football, the World Cup. It's the top of the top. And you can, the World Cup is, we've got to do it. And
No, excellent. Woody, an update on women's football, if you can, please, from this last weekend.
Yeah, so my under-16s progressed into the final of the Wiltshire League Cup. We beat Marlborough. I won't say the scoreline, but it was a convincing win. And our development team lost 5-2 to the team they beat 3-2 last week. A shining glimmer for me on that one because one of my under-16s made her debut and scored, which is awesome. And then the first team, I went down there as well, and they played Poole. Lovely day of football it was, and they won 3-0. So I think it's wrapping up nicely now. The development team's going to be a good league to watch because that's a tight league. It is pretty much going to be between the top three really. Probably the top two more, which would be Swindon and Warminster, and they still got to play each other again. So quite an interesting run-in. This weekend, no senior football, if I remember rightly. My lot have Marlborough again, bless them, for the fourth time this season in the league, whilst we try and just finish off the games that we've got left.
Oh, well, excellent. Congratulations to, firstly to the young lady who made her debut for the development squad. Congratulations on that, and well done on your result and getting to the final as well, Woody. Look forward to hearing how that progresses over the next couple of weeks. Gents, it's been a bumper episode, lots to discuss, but did anyone come up with any terms we should be adding to our match day vocabulary?
No.
Devilish skullduggery, which is the dark arts.
I can't follow that. I feel like I was just sat there thinking like any terminology, like not necessarily common terminology, but terminologies that I might use as well. So I use a terminology called the hook tackle. And the hook tackle is when a player wins the ball, but also keeps control and carries possession as well.
Yeah, I can picture that, actually. That hook tackle is good.
Yeah, and it's funny because whenever I say it, naturally it comes to my mind. So whenever I say it in training or in a match, and I'm talking to players about improving their hook tackle, and they're just like, "You're fucking what?" Like, when you got a 15-year-old,
a hook and it bends around the ball when you. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and that's why I called it. And it's not I don't think it's a well-known saying at all. I don't know where I've picked it up from, but it's just one that I've always used. That because you can always get your defender. I always say, "Yeah, you're really good. You're a traditional defender. You know, you can rely on you on a one-on-one." But like I said to one of my defenders who's really good at the hook tackle, I said, "Oh yeah, you're really good at that kind of hook tackle. You always have possession after you've won the ball back and stuff like that." So that's probably
I like that. Hook tackle will definitely be added. And sorry, let me just make sure I got it right, Ned. Devilish skullduggery.
Yes.
I can't believe you nicked mine, Ned.
Ben couldn't come up with any. Warren, did you guys come up with one?
No, I was trying to think back to my Sunday league days where it was just brilliant when it's some of the stuff you hear, but I'd probably need it for another night and I'd probably remember loads of them by next time. But some of the phrases that come out of Sunday league football is just
still
brilliant.
Still 0-0.
Still 0-0. You're still in this, you know what I mean? It's like, just some of the phrases were just, that'd be for another day, I think, and I'll remember loads of them, but none of them spring to mind.
Well, obviously, a lot of these questions we'll be offering out over the week on social media anyway. So if you do think of any, then by all means let us know. Finally, Rich, could you think of any to add to the match day list?
Oh mate, it's too late. I can't even think.
I knew it was past your bedtime.
It's way past. He's got a maths exam in the morning.
Is his maths exam counting his bank balance?
Was has got to have some because I remember obviously I watched your team a few times, didn't I? And your halftime team talks were the most passionate halftime Sunday League team talks I've ever seen. So
I was inspirational.
There.
I've definitely got some. I've got to go back to the videos, I think, because I was videoed a few times doing it. Some of the lads were trying to stitch me up, or people.
More importantly, if
Phil Brown.
anyone's got these videos of Warren doing halftime motivational team talks, I want to watch these videos.
Yeah, I'll try and dig them out the archives. It was some years ago, but yeah, I did take it proper seriously. But that's the only way to do it for me. I just wanted to win, whether it was Sunday League or what.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Now I know there's a few...
I've got one, by the way.
Oh, go on, Rich.
Oh no, it's a page. It literally, you just made me think of it actually, Warren. But inspirational. Neil Warnock, you've got to fucking die and get 3 points.
Yeah, love that. I love that. That's one of the best speeches.
Yeah,
superb way to close. Listen, I know there's quite a few of the panelists, the regular panelists, heading up to Rochdale. So have a great afternoon. Bring back the points, of course. And if you've watched it, if you've listened to this, thank you very much. Thank you for all the feedback that we've been getting in recent weeks. Thank you for the constant submissions of questions and comments. We really appreciate that as well. And again, I don't feel like I've said it for a few weeks, but if you'd like to join the panel, then by all means get in touch, and we would love to have you join the crew. But from me and from the rest of the guys, until next time, goodbye.